Please open page number 205, chapter number 7, Sound. On this page of this chapter, initially the cause of the production of sound is given, which is that whenever an object vibrates, sound is produced, and the definition of vibration is also given, which is the rapid to and fro motion of an object about its equilibrium position. After this, a number of examples are given which explains you that whenever you set an object into vibration, sound will be produced. There are 6 examples, and in all these examples the same thing has been told to you, whether it is example of a pendulum and a vibrating tuning fork, or a rubber band which is stretched, or example of a flute or a whistle or a drum. All these examples are only explaining you that whenever vibration happens, sound is produced. Next comes the propagation of sound. Kindly underline this. Sound is produced by vibrating body and it moves through a medium. Now here the important portion is through a medium. That means sound needs a medium for its propagation. From the point of generation, which is the source, and to the listener ear, which is the receptor. So basically for propagation of sound you need 3 things: medium, source and receptor. The medium can be a solid, liquid or a gas. Sound cannot travel through vacuum. And experiment number 7.1, which is a bell jar experiment, is explaining you the same thing only. Now here you need not to learn the procedure of the experiment. Also the diagram is not important for you to learn, but yes, observation and conclusion you should understand and you should learn for the test. And the observation is that whenever you will evacuate this jar, evacuate means there is no air inside the jar. Whenever you will evacuate it, it will not be able to propagate sound. That means you will not be able to hear the sound because there is no air. Okay? And conclusion that you draw is sound always needs medium for its propagation. It can never travel in vacuum. Then on the next page, the method of propagation of sound through a medium has been explained to you. Basically, this entire topic explains you that sound is nothing but a disturbance that carries energy, and whenever the wave propagates, the sound wave propagates, the medium particles do not leave their position. They only vibrate about to and fro about their equilibrium position. It is the energy or the disturbance that propagates, and this has been explained in these few lines. And in the first paragraph you can read and you can understand for explanation purpose for any of the question that when an object vibrates, it sets the particles of the medium around it vibrating. The particles do not travel. A particle of a medium in contact with the vibrating object is displaced from its equilibrium position or its mean position. Okay? And then it exerts a force. This is important. It exerts these particles, these vibrating particles exert force on the adjacent particles, and they also repeat the same process of vibrating about their equilibrium position. And this happens, okay, continuously. And then disturbance created by a source of sound in a medium travels through the medium particles, but there is no bodily movement of the medium particles. And this entire thing has been explained here. And therefore, sound energy that travels through a medium, for example air or any other medium, it is traveling as a mechanical wave, because the mechanical energy is being transferred actually, and particles are not transferred from their original position. And in the knowledge desk, you can see there are two examples given that without any medium, sound cannot propagate. So this is what you have to prepare from this particular topic. After that, then again comes a few example which explains you more on waves and the wave motion with the help of water ripples and the string which is fixed at one end. Okay, so whenever you disturb, waves are produced. Then comes the definition of wave, and this definition you will learn. A wave is a disturbance that moves through a medium such that the particles of the medium set the neighboring particles into motion. They in turn produce similar motion in others. Although medium particles do not move forward, but the disturbance is carried forward. This you can write as a definition of wave. Also, another definition is given that wave is any disturbance that propagates through a medium due to repeated vibratory motion of the medium particles to and fro about their respective mean position. A wave transfers energy as well as momentum but does not transfer mass. This sentence is very important for understanding purpose. Okay. So you can choose to learn this definition or that one, it's up to you. But yes, the last line is very important, children, that energy and momentum is transferred but not the mass. Why? Because medium particles do not travel. They only vibrate about their mean position. On the next page, requisites of medium is important. Requisites means if you're choosing any substance as a medium, it should possess elasticity, inertia, and it should be frictionless. So this is important in this particular page, as well as this knowledge desk, which basically differentiates between sound waves and light waves. After that, the next article is about propagation of sound waves as sound energy as waves through air medium. That means this is talking about the longitudinal nature of the sound wave and how longitudinal wave propagates in any medium. Okay, and this has been explained with the help of a vibrating tuning fork, and the entire explanation is given over here. Again, you need not to learn the entire topic, but yes, knowledge of definition of compression and rarefaction is important, and the difference between compression and rarefaction you should know and you should learn, and this difference is very well explained in the in this particular paragraph, which is written in bold. Okay, so you should know that what happens during in the compression region. That means about the density, pressure and volume of the air, and similarly it's what happens in the rarefaction region, so which is very well explained in the diagram. So again, you do not learn all these points, but yes, understanding is important. On the next page, this graph is given, which is very important, as well as this particular pictorial representation of compression and rarefaction, which is basically telling you the pressure variations that take place. And you can very well see compression is a region of high pressure and rarefaction is a region of low pressure. Similarly, in this pictorial depiction of density variation when sound travels in air, this is all explaining you how sound travels in air. So regions of compression have higher density, while regions of rarefaction have lower density. And rarefaction has more volume of air, compression has less volume of air. And this is the graphical representation in which the peaks on the positive side of the graph depict compression and the lower peaks depict rarefaction. Next is the characteristics of sound wave. So here this is the longitudinal wave which is being depicted through this graph, and with the help of this graph we will see what are the different characteristics. amplitude, wavelength, frequency, time period, and wave speed. These are the 5 characteristics that you should learn, and you should learn their definition. Amplitude definition, the magnitude of maximum disturbance, and the word which you should never forget to write while writing the definition of amplitude is maximum. Disturbance, pressure, or in terms of density. Okay, in the medium on either side of the mean value is called amplitude of the sound wave. Okay, and here the symbol is capital A, however you may write small a also. The unit of amplitude is same as the unit of density or pressure if you are given a longitudinal wave. Otherwise, unit of amplitude can be given in terms of centimeter, provided you have a displacement distance graph. Only in that situation. Next is a wavelength. Wavelength is the distance between two consecutive compressions or two consecutive rarefactions, and the symbol is lambda. SI unit is meter. Frequency, the change in the density or pressure from the maximum value to the minimum value and again to the maximum value is one complete vibration. This is the definition of one complete vibration, and frequency is the number of vibrations completed per unit time by the sound wave. Okay, so this definition you can learn. SI unit is hertz, and also 1 hertz is 1 vibration per second. Time period definition is given over here. However, there are 2 definitions of time period given. You may choose any one. There is no problem. And the SI unit is seconds. Next comes an important relationship between frequency and time period. Both are reciprocal to each other, and hence 1 hertz is also equal to 1 per second. And finally, the wave speed, the definition is given over here, and you will have to learn the entire definition word by word. Okay, because this definition is meant only for longitudinal wave, and hence they have mentioned the words like compression and rarefaction. So 2 definitions are given. You may choose any one for learning purpose. Then comes another relationship between wavelength, lambda, that means wavelength, frequency and wave velocity, and based on the formula here you get numericals. You have already done numericals based on the formula which we have done just now, frequency and time period as well as wave velocity formula. Now children, when you will prepare for the test, please go through all the solved numericals which are given, and they are beautifully explained in the book. Kindly solve them in order to understand the concept better. Article number 7.6 is about speed of sound in different media. Basically, here in this topic, you have been taught that whenever you change the medium of propagation, the speed of sound is different. And this table, you are familiar, you are very much familiar with this table, children. This table, if you remember, clearly shows, and you can see also, that aluminium, whenever sound travels in aluminium, its speed is maximum out of these given substances which are solid, right? And in liquids, again, you can easily figure out that the values are different if the nature of the medium is different. So basically, different speed of sound is there when the medium are different. Then in the same topic, there are some factors which affect the speed of sound other than the medium, and that are, the first one being that the speed of sound depends upon the density of the gas, and wave velocity is inversely proportional to square root of the density. And this is a very important formula based on which you will get numerical. I hope you remember there was one numerical which I solved while explaining this concept. Then another factor on which the speed of sound depend upon is the temperature of the gas, and both of them are directly proportional to each other. In fact, wave speed is directly proportional to square root of the absolute temperature. And there is another relationship, comparative relationship between the two. That means if you are given the temperature of one medium and temperature of another medium and wave velocity of the first medium, then you can easily find the wave velocity of the second medium. Apart from this, there is one more formula related to the velocity of sound with respect to temperature, and that is V at certain temperature, say T degrees Celsius, is equal to V naught, where V naught represents the wave velocity at 0 degrees Celsius plus 0.61 T. I hope you remember this formula also. So if I ask you to find the temperature of the sound at 25 degrees Celsius, you will simply put the values in this equation, and you can easily find the velocity of sound at 25 degrees Celsius. So this is a simple calculation, and the questions based on this are also very important. Now density, temperature, next comes humidity. So this paragraph tells you about how humidity affects the speed of sound. Direction of wind is the next factor which affects the speed of sound. So these are the four factors which affect speed of sound. However, there are some more factors which do not affect speed of sound, and these are frequency, wavelength, then intensity of sound, then pressure also does not affect the speed of sound, which is given in the previous page, that speed of sound is independent of pressure. However, all these rules and concept apply only when the sound is traveling in some gas. It does not apply when you have a solid medium or a liquid medium. These concepts, these formula are applicable only when sound is traveling in a gas medium. So this is very important, and let's move to the next topic. There is a question in the book, page number 227. Question number 14. Compare the speed of sound in air at 300 Kelvin and 360 Kelvin temperature. So this question is based on the formula that V1 upon V2 is equal to under root of T1 upon T2. So T1 temperature is 300 Kelvin, T2 is 360. So you cancel zeros here, right? And on solving, you will get, and solving and removing the square root sign, you'll get it as under root of 5 upon 6. Now since comparison has been asked, so that means you should express your answer in this way, that V1 is to V2 equals to root 5 is to root 6. So these kinds of questions can also be asked, and these are very simple to solve. Then comes the comparison between speed of sound with the speed of light, and there are many comparisons, and all of them are given here and has been explained also. However, there is a consequence due to there are many consequences in our daily life due to the huge difference between speed of sound and light. And these are, you hear thunder later, but you see lightning first. And there are 3 examples actually given, and all 3 examples you should know, and there are other examples also in your day-to-day life which you should explore and find out. Now children, there comes again some solved numericals, and if you remember, I have already solved this example number 7.7 while explaining the concept of the relationship between the speed of sound and density. So here it is a comparison between speed of sound in hydrogen gas with that of air. So what do you find here? That velocity of sound in hydrogen gas is 3.81 times more than velocity of sound in air. This example 7.6 is nothing but a simple question based on speed, distance and time. See, speed basically is a formula which is written as speed equals to distance upon time. So it doesn't matter whether you are given the speed of sound or anything else. Sometimes you use this formula also to find out the time taken. So these are ordinary and simple numericals which definitely require practice, and all of them are solved here. So do practice them before writing your test. Then comes range of hearing. Different frequencies of sound are mentioned here, and you have to learn that which frequencies are audible to us and which are not. So infrasonic and ultrasonic frequencies are not audible to us. End of the paragraph. The difference between supersonic and ultrasonic is also given. So supersonic wave has nothing to do with ultrasonic. Supersonic is a speed which is greater than the speed of sound. So there are supersonic jets, means these jets travel with a speed greater than the speed of sound. And then there are certain applications given. All applications are important. There are some questions that are based on speed, distance and time, speed of sound, distance and time, and some questions based on sonar. So please solve them, and you will be able to find their answers because these are very easy, simply questions based on speed, distance and time. Apart from that, on page number 219 onwards, some numericals are solved here, and some of the numericals are very important. For example, 7.11. This particular numerical is very important because here, if you go through the question, the person has hearing range from 20 Hertz to 20,000 Hertz, and you have to find the wavelength corresponding to these, and the speed of sound is given. So it's a different sort of question where you have to find the wavelength. Always remember, children, whenever you are solving numerical, do not leave your answer in fraction. You should express your answer in decimal. Just remember this. Otherwise, 1 mark is deducted. Similarly, example number 7.14 is also a very good question. The question is, the frequency of a tuning fork is 384 Hertz and the speed of sound is given. You have to find the wavelength. So that is very easy to find. Now the next part of the question is very interesting. How far does the sound travel while the tuning fork completes 36 vibration? So when you have found already the wavelength, which is the distance traveled by one single wave, so when 36 waves have been completed, so what distance it will travel? So it is simple multiplication using unitary method. That means distance traveled by sound in one vibration is given here, right? And total distance will be 36 waves multiplied by 1. So this is a very interesting question, a different type of question which you should definitely practice. Then comes example number 7.18. This example is also very interesting because it is comparison based question. Compare the frequency of notes A and C played during a musical concert when the speed of sound is given here and the wavelengths are also given. So you have to compare. So definitely for both the notes, the velocity is constant and hence the frequency and wavelength bear this relationship. So this is another very interesting question which you must practice. In the end, I would say please go through the answers given over here so that you know what to write when some question is asked.